Hey guys, welcome back to Libro Review. I hope you're doing very nice and I'm sending a lot of hugs and positivity to all of you. In today's video, I'm going to be telling my story of how I started reading, why I started reading, and how it has changed my life. Just a few days back, one of you lovely family members of Libro Review requested me to make a video on how to read during quarantine. Quarantine is not a very whoo period for everyone. There are some people out there, including me at some places and at some times, who are not feeling very good, who feel lost, and so many of our plans have gone into the trash. And I feel like my story of how reading has changed my life will inspire you to pick up a good book for yourself and feel better about yourself and your life too. I was going to give my 12th standard examinations. I was preparing for it, and that phase was not very good for me. A little backstory to it: I dropped out of school once before beginning with my 11th standard because I was into social service and I was doing some things in the education system field. Because even now and even then, I do not really feel like our education system is enough. I feel like the schools are very institutional and they have like this completely different world which is so different from the real world. It is very theoretical, and that's the reason there were so many things that I wanted to change in the education system, so I was working towards them. For that, I was studying a lot of stuff. I was studying Sanskrit at that time, and after studying Sanskrit, I was going to get into a lot more of, books or kind of like ancient texts where I would get more idea of how our education system was in the past, so that we can pick on all the good things. Suddenly I was like, oh my god, I have to give 11th and 12th examinations because I need it, because I wanted to become an IAS at that time, and you need to pass 12th standard and have graduation to become an IAS, and that is what my goal was at that time. When I was giving my 12th standard examinations, I was not really liking it. First of all, I did not sleep for like 1 week because my exams were back to back. There were so many times when I would be studying at night after having like a lot of coffee, and then I would just start crying out of nowhere because I did not want to do that. I just did not feel like that is where I want to be, that is what I want to be doing with my life. I am not saying it in any manner that if you are giving a 12th examinations or that if you are pursuing your career in the educational field and this and that, it is wrong. I'm not saying that at all. It's just about how I was feeling at that time. It was not a space for me. It was not how I wanted to live my life. I did not want to spend my life reading textbooks and not using that knowledge in my real life. I did not see the whole point of just rectifying everything at night and then going and spilling it out on the paper and then getting grades out of it that do not matter to me at all, and it is not helping me provide any value to anybody else at that point of time. Now I know this is like a weird thought process maybe for a lot of you, but this is what I was going through at that time, and that is when I decided that I'm going to quit IAS. I cannot do IAS because IAS is like 10 times the amount of studies that I had to do for 12th standard. I wanted to be an IAS because I wanted to serve more people, because I thought that if I become an IAS, then I will be able to do a lot more in the education system field. But then I just felt so out of place during the 12th examinations. I was like, how on earth will I be able to study for IAS if I'm not able to study for 12th examinations, and if it is having such a bad influence on my mental state, where out of nowhere, for no particular reason, at night I will start crying, or out of nowhere, for no particular reason, when there was a holiday between exams, I would wake up, I would know exactly what I have to do. Of course I had schedules and plans to study, just like how I have schedules and plans right now to do a lot of things. I would still wake up and I would sleep again because I did not want to study all that. I just did not want to do it, and that is where I went completely dark. If I don't want to do IAS, then what do I want to do in my life? I knew one thing for sure, that I want to provide value to the society in some or the other way, because I always feel like Mother Nature has put this responsibility on my shoulders as a person, as a human being, to make earth a better place, to serve people in some or the other way. I always feel like that. I felt like that since childhood. I need to do that. I need to fulfill my responsibility. That is what my purpose is. That is what I feel. That is my intuition, and I don't want to ignore it. And now I'm not becoming an IAS. How will I do that? I was completely dark. I was also scared that I'm going to hurt my parents so much because they had a lot of dreams for me. I have never ever felt that lost ever in my life. I am the kind of person who always has an aim that I go towards. I'm just like that. I always have ambitions. I always have goals that I walk towards. It doesn't matter if I reach the goal or not. What I feel like is that if I'm taking some steps towards my goal, I may get diverted in the middle, but that diversion will be good for me. And if I don't take actions itself, then how on earth am I going to get to that diversion which will be good for me? So I just don't like sitting down and just waiting for things to happen for me. I like to make things happen. I'm kind of like a go-getter. But at that time, for some time, I had zero goals. And I would just always think of what to do. But then, because I was so free, I picked up on this book, which is The Ultimate Gift by Stovall. My brother is a reader. He reads fiction, but he has been a reader since childhood, and I've always seen him being completely lost into like his fictitious world. So I was like, okay fine, let me just pick up a book. And this book is like so thin. I was like, 100 pages, what will happen? Let me pick it up. It is a fictitious book. I will enjoy a lot. And I did not know what the book has. I did not even read the blurb. I just picked it up randomly. This book has 12 gifts that the great grandfather of Jason gives to Jason. I was like, oh my good lord. The thing is that we all have those 12 gifts in our life, and even if we are not blessed with it by birth, we can acquire them. And it does not require money, it does not require a lot of stuff. It comes from within. All these 12 gifts, I have all these 12 gifts in my life. Why am I so sad? Why am I so lost? And this book also is like very inspirational because of the journey of Jason from like the most crappy, ungrateful human in the world to becoming a person who is serving the world in the best way possible. And I was in that crappy place. I was not a brat though, but I was in that crappy place where Jason was, and I do want to get to that place where I'm serving the world in the best way possible, and I have all the gifts for it. And that's when I developed this gratitude for my life, and I was like, oh my good lord, there are so many things I can do. I have a healthy brain and a healthy body, and that is all you need to get started. You don't need money, you don't need a lot of resources, you don't need a lot of push from other people. What you need is yourself, the belief in yourself, a good body, a good mind. And there are so many people out there who don't even have complete of this, and they're still achieving so much. And I was there sitting and cribbing about my life and how lost I am and how horrible my life is. This book kind of literally pulled me out of that place of being ungrateful or being dark, completely dark, or being like not being able to get up in the morning, to a place where I was ready to explore, where I was ready to try different things in my life. And then I read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Again, I recommend this book so many times because this book gave me the courage to believe in the impossible. A lot of people don't like this book because of how fantasy, what kind of a fantasy it is. It is unrealistic. But honestly speaking, we make our life realistic because we have a mentality that things cannot go beyond that. And this book taught me that there is no limitation as to where your thoughts can go, as to where your dreams can go. Life is unrealistic. There is no realistic and unrealistic actually. It is us who makes the difference between what is realistic and what is unrealistic. And if there are certain things that we really want in our life and they lie in the category of unrealistic, we stop working for them. But then this book taught me that no, you don't need to stop working for the things that you think are unrealistic. Your dreams, your imaginations, your hope from life and your aspirations can be the most unrealistic things in life. What needs to be realistic is how you go towards them, and which I learned from this book. And then the combination of these both books pushed me so hard to start doing what I'm doing right now. Now, I'm not saying that overnight I turned from a person who would cry randomly to a person who would be like, whoo, I'm so excited about life and shit like that. No, that did not happen. It was a learning curve. I went through a lot of shit even then, mentally. And after reading a few more books, after this I read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And that book gave me the 13 principles you require in order to be successful in your life in any way possible. while reading Think and Grow Rich, I realized that, hold on, I am trying to provide value to the world. I'm trying to do something completely different, something new and all that. But there are so many people out there who have written these beautiful, beautiful books that can change lives. That can literally, like, they did it for me. They pulled me out of a rut, and they can pull anybody out of a rut if a person gets the right book for the right time. Why am I not telling people what to read? And that is when I came up with the idea of Libro review, 1-minute reviews on Instagram, where I was like, I will just tell people in very normal layman language whether they should pick up a book or not, because one book, just like how it changed my life, it can change your life too. And that is when I was like, I don't care about anything else. I know this is what I want to do. It just felt right. The intuition that told me that IAS and 12th standard and all those things are not meant for me, that intuition, that inner voice told me that this is what I want to do. This is how I can provide value to people, because if because of my recommendation somebody picks up one book, single book, and I'm emphasizing so much on this because one book is enough to change your life. If somebody just picks up one book and implement on whatever is written in the book, their lives will change. And I'm saying this from experience, because from being at a place where I did not know what to do, and God knows what would happen if I did not dive into books, from that place I came to this place where every single day I fail, and every single day I have the patience to get back up and keep doing what I'm doing. It gave me the purpose of my life, and it can do that for you too. After reading those few books, I started reading many more books because of Bookstagram recommendations. Bookstagram is the Instagram community for books. I just learned so much from various books. I cannot name all the books right now, but I do have a video where I'm talking about 5 lessons that I got from 5 books. I will link it down in the description. You can see it, and those are just 5 lessons. There is many more things that I learned from books. I don't retain all the knowledge from all the non-fiction books that I have read, but I do know one thing, that all the information is there in my subconscious mind. It just pops out the information into your conscious mind when you need it. So I know one thing, that I've read so many books that my subconscious mind is constantly being created in a way that will help me to go forward in my life, that will help me to not give up even if I'm not succeeding every single day, that will help me to come up with strategies that will help me to grow, that will help me to stay on the path, that will help me to love myself even more, that will help me to be motivated, that will help me to help others. So yes, that is how I got pushed to start this channel. And from this channel, like, all I want to do is just pass on this thing that I got from books. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please do because I post like really good content there also. But on Instagram we are almost near 4,000 followers. On YouTube I'm almost at 2,000 subscribers. Combining everything, I am reaching around 10,000 people every single day in my life. And that means a lot to me, because again, as I said, if any one of you is picking up even one book that I have recommended and it is changing your life, then there is nothing more than I want in my life. And no matter what happens to me in the worldly world, no matter how rich or poor I am, I'll be very rich though, but no matter how rich or poor I am, no matter what big numbers I attain or not, though I am working towards attaining big numbers, but that is secondary. What matters to me the most is that I know what my passion is. It is helping people. I know how to do it by recommending books and talking about books and sharing my knowledge that I get from books, by helping you to read better and retain more knowledge. The best thing is that I am at a point where tomorrow, even if I die, I will know that I died doing something that I love to do so much, and I wouldn't trade this for anything in my life. So from being at a very dark place in my life where I did not know what to do, where I was completely aimless, I have come to a point when I'm like, oh my good Lord, when am I going to wake up and start working? The first thing that hits my mind in the morning when I wake up is, oh, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. I have so many things to do. I have so many purposes to fulfill. I have so many goals to achieve, and I love it. And that's how books saved my life. And I'm just hoping that through this channel, through Libro Review, that is the purpose of Libro Review. I just hope that I'm able to do the same thing for you. If you are going through this phase right now in quarantine, then this is the time for you to not just watch my videos, but a lot of other great creators' videos, how books are changing their life and what books are helping them to change their lives. And you pick on that book and you start your own process of reading and retaining information that will help you. Because I'm telling you, if you just constantly keep reading and taking action along with it, reading won't do anything if you're not taking action. But if you just start reading, if you read only one book and you start taking action, eventually your life will change. When you look at it day to day, you won't really notice the change, but when you look back at it, suddenly you'll be like, oh my good lord, where was I and where I am right now. So please start reading in this period. If you're feeling low, it will bring you out. And if you need any special recommendations, you can ask me, obviously, and I'm always here for you. If you enjoyed the video and if you want to support me in any way possible, then please do subscribe to Libro Review. Please do follow Libro Review on Instagram, because this way we will reach more people. And do share the content only if you think that it is valuable, to the people who think that it will be valuable for them too, so that we can spread this whole thing together as a family, because nothing can be accomplished alone. Another thing that I learned from books. So please do take care of yourself, do share the content, please do subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.